When I studied abroad in France for the second time, I lived with a host family, and the family had 6 kids, plus myself and the parents. So the dinner table was a really interesting place to be. And I had never had that kind of experience before. And I started to examine what French people were eating from the perspective of being at that dinner table, and was totally fascinated by what they were eating, why they were eating it, and sort of how they approached food as a family. When I came back to the United States, I was then a senior, and started diving into topics of food and examining what was going on in food culture right here in the United States. I used some tools that I learned in study abroad while at UNH in terms of how to navigate different cultural settings and figure out what was going on in a situation to insert myself into what was happening in the food movement right here in New Hampshire. I started volunteering on farms. I started going into cheese shops and asking them if they could teach me a little bit about the milk that was used to produce that cheese. And overall started becoming fascinated by the entire world that surrounded food. The International Affairs dual major helped introduce a whole new realm of topics to me, and I was able to apply what I was learning about the world to what I was learning about France. And I really liked how I was studying things like geography and economy and politics, and it really situated France and French studies in a current context for me. So I wasn't bogged down in history or grammar or literature. I was really able to look at France as a place that it was experiencing current issues. I remember in my capstone course that, and actually all of the courses that the dual major offered, those core courses, were littered with students from all different disciplines. So I wasn't just in a classroom with a bunch of French majors anymore. There were different perspectives at the table, and everyone was challenging me constantly to think about France's current affairs in a different way. And those challenges led me to think in an entirely different way about the international world and my place in it as a global citizen. I started learning more and more about some movements that were going on in India, and wound up identifying a mentor there. Her name was Dr. Vandana Shiva. I asked her if I might be able to come to India and start an internship with her. She said yes, and that's about all she said before I showed up in January, just like I told her I would. What I learned most in India was that there is a human spirit that is completely inspirational. That people are really what drive this planet forward, and that I really loved working with people. And it didn't matter whether or not I could communicate with them through language. There were always things like smiles. After a year of working in India, I decided that I wanted to take some of the knowledge that I'd learned abroad and bring it home. The genetically modified food debate was something that was definitely happening in developing nations, but I thought that some of the roots of the causes of this GMO debate were based in the United States. I started looking for jobs and found an open position at the Yale Sustainable Food Project. It's a program that runs a 1-acre organic garden on campus and presents opportunities to students and to local community members who are interested in learning more about the food system. Part of the work that I do there is help students connect whatever it is they're studying in their academic discipline with the different tenets of sustainable food. I believe that the food system is something that we all need to be studying in every single discipline across every university in this country. Being back on campus for the first time in 5 years has been a really interesting experience for me. I love seeing what's going on here with sustainability and feel really proud about the efforts that this institution has made to become a more sustainable space and also create a culture of sustainability across campus. I think that if you're considering international affairs as a major, you should come talk to the folks at CIE and chat with them about what your goals are. I think it's an incredible way to pair one of your academic interests with a really amazing broad viewpoint of the world.